Alright, so what we're going to be doing right now is talking about percents, and before we solve percent problems we have to know what percent means. A percent is a complex fraction whose denominator is 100. It is nothing more and nothing less. It is 100. Now once you know that, if I ask you what a percent is, you can immediately tell me what the denominator is going to be. So typically to represent a percent, we use the percent symbol and it looks just like that. So if I tell you 35%, as a fraction, it's going to be 35 whose denominator is 100. Another one, 48%, will be 48 whose denominator is 100. Last one, I have 0.5%. It would be 0.5 whose denominator is 100. So that's just a definition to how to get you to work with percents and how to convert them into fractions immediately because you know the definition. Next, I would like to present to you the following structure that you should be using when you're solving basic percent problems. What you need to figure out is thinking about some percent times some number equals another number. And once you know that, you're good. The last thing that we need to talk about is what does the word of mean in mathematics? Well, of means to multiply. Alright? Now once we know that, we can actually go on to solve some percent problems. So let us practice with these problems that we have right here. What is 40% of 60? Well, this is a percent problem, so I'm going to have to set it up with the basic structure that I think about. Some percent times some number equals another number. Well, let's plug in our information where we see fit. What is 40%? Well, 40% is going to go here because it's a percent and its complex fraction whose denominator is 100. So the 40 will go over the 100. Of means to multiply. And the number that comes right after of, even if it's in a word problem, it's going to go right after the multiplication sign. That's 60. Is what number? Do we know what that other number is? No. So we're going to use the variable n to represent the number that we're trying to find. Now, the whole goal in trying to solve these percent problems is to isolate or get n by itself. Is n by itself in this case? Yes. So therefore, all we have to do is take care of this side over here on the equal sign because we know that 40 hundredths times 60 is going to give us the same number as n. Alright, let's see if we can simplify the fraction 40 hundredths. We can fill out a factor of 10, so let's take that out. I have 4 tenths. Let's see if we can simplify 4 tenths. Yes, because the digits end in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, so we can have 2 go into it. 2 goes into 4 2 times, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. 2 and 5, the difference between 2 and 5 is 3. Therefore, 3 is prime, can't count by 3 to get to 2 or 5, so that's simplified. Now let's see if we can cross-cancel the 5 and the 60. You can only cross-cancel when you're dealing with multiplication of fractions. So therefore, we have 5 and 60. This ends in 5, this ends in 0. Well, the rules for 5 says if the digits end in 0 or 5, they're both divisible by 5. So 5 goes into 5 once, and 5 goes into 60 12 times. Now we simply have 2 times 12 is 24 all over 1 times, and if there's no denominator, assume that it's 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 24 divided by 1 is 24, and therefore that must equal n. 24 equals n. Alright, let's do the next one. Same structural problem. Some percent times some number equals another number. Let's plug it in. 30 is what percent? Is 30 going to go here? No, because it's not a percent. Is 30 going to go here? No, because it's not coming right after the word of. 30 is going to go right there. What percent? Do I know the percent? No. Therefore, I'm going to use the variable n. Of means to multiply. 150 will go right after the multiplying. Alright, now this is kind of tricky. N is not by itself. Not by itself at all. So in order to get n by itself, n is now being multiplied by 150 and divided by 100. So in order to get n by itself, I have to multiply by the reciprocal. And in this case, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of 150 hundredths, which is 100 150ths. And what I do to one number, I have to do to the other number because they are the same. So I multiply 30 by 150ths. Luckily for us, when we're multiplying, we can cross cancel, and these become 1. And the hundreds will cross cancel and become 1. So 1 times n is n. N divided by 1 is n. Times 1 is n. So n is by itself. And now, let's see if we can simplify 100 150ths. Yes, we can. 50 goes into it 2 times, and 50 goes into 150 3 times. Can we simplify 2/3 anymore? No, because it's 1 away. Alright, let's see if we can cross cancel because we're multiplying fractions, 30 and 3. And yes, we can. The 3 goes into both of them. 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 30, 10 times. And now, 10 times 2 is 20, divided by 1 times 1, which is 1, and 20 divided by 1 is 20. Therefore, the answer to this problem is n equals 20. So going back to our problem, 30 is 20% of 150. Last problem. This is a multiple choice question that many state tests will include, and you might even see on your class tests. Lewis is climbing steps to the top of a monument. After climbing 15 steps, Lewis stops, so he climbed 15 steps. Lewis stops to tie his shoe. If there's a total of 75 steps on the monument, what percent of the total number of steps has Lewis climbed when he stops to tie his shoe? So this isn't one of those problems where it's clear cut. We have to read into the numbers and see what the numbers are representing. Let's go to the question though. It says what percent. Automatically we know we're going to set up some percent times some number equals another number. Alright, what percent? Do we know what that percent is? No. What percent of multiply the total number of steps? Total number of steps, what number is represented by that? 75. So 75 will go right there. And then, has he climbed when he stops to tie his shoe? He stops to tie his shoe, he climbed 15 steps. So what percent of 75 is the same as 15? Is n by itself? No. Therefore, we're going to have to multiply by the reciprocal of 75 hundredths, and the reciprocal of that is 175ths. And what I do to one number, I'll do to the other number. And over here, I'll make 1. Over here, I'll make 1. 1 times n is n, divided by 1 is n, times 1 is n. Alright, so we know this n is by itself. Finally, we're going to simplify here. 175ths. Is there a factor that can go into both of these numbers? Yes, 25. 25 goes into 100 4 times. 25 goes into 75 3 times. Can I simplify this anymore? No, because it's 1 away. Let's see if we can cross cancel because we're multiplying. Yes, 3 can go into 3 and 15 because 1 plus 5 is 6 and 6 is a multiple of 3. 3 goes into 3 once and 3 goes into 15 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. Divided by 1 times 1 is 1. 20 divided by 1 is 20. Therefore, the answer is what percent? 20%. And the answer is C. I hope you enjoyed this exercise on percents, and I wish you the very best of luck throughout the school year if you are in my class or elsewhere in the world. Take care.